This is one of the most exciting and scariest moments of everyone's transition, going out in your new gender for the first time. You'll remember this for a very long time. Hi, my name is Kira. I'm a transgender woman and psychologist specializing in transgender care. Today we'll talk about an exciting topic, going out for the first time presenting in your new gender. I like the phrase said by transgender woman and doctor from Sweden, whom I interviewed recently. Transition is a project. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check it by following this link. She shared many good ideas and thoughts. I fully agree with her quote. We should perceive transition as a life-changing project, with its stages, certain steps to take, and a final goal to achieve. I often recommend making a roadmap or an instruction plan for yourself. Of course, it will change during your transition, but it will help you move faster and more effective. This plan should be built individually. If you struggle with it, you can ask for help from more experienced trans women or counselors who work with transgender people. In most of these plans, there is one step that may bring the most anxiety and frustration: going out in public for the first time presenting as a woman. I remember my own thoughts when I started taking HRT, but hadn't presented as a woman yet. I was scared, I was frustrated. I tried to find excuses why I shouldn't do it. I had this feeling that I will always be perceived as a man by society. I thought that people would be cruel and so on. I hoped that maybe in a year or so on, I will go out for the first time in public wearing a skirt. Thankfully, it happened much earlier, just in a month. Since then, a lot of things have changed. Let's talk about how you can fight this fear and what can you do to make it happen. I can't stress enough how important safety is. We oftentimes ignore it until we get in trouble. Exactly, this happened to me once, and I hope you will not repeat my mistake. There are several basic rules that you should follow. Never go on your own in deserted places. The first thought can be, I'm not confident yet, and I don't want other people to see me. It's actually the most dangerous thing you can do, and I'm talking specifically about physical safety. Most crimes happen in deserted places without witnesses. Yes, if you avoid public places, you will interact with a less amount of people. But if anything happens, there will be no one to ask for help or protect you. I learned this lesson the hard way when I went out at the beginning of my transition on my own on a deserted countryside road. Long story short, I really wished to be among people when I was attacked. Stay in crowded places, be among people. You can choose cafes, restaurants, museums, malls. If possible, choose LGBT-friendly places like bars or events, where you will feel more comfortable and accepted. Try doing it in the daylight, morning, midday, or even early evening, but by any means avoid going out alone at night. This recommendation may sound a bit silly and obvious, but you should realize that the world and society treats men and women differently. Something that seemed safe for you before transition may now be dangerous. This should be repeated again and again until your old habits go away. And the last recommendation: if you want to avoid your neighbors, friends, and family knowing about your transition, you may consider doing it somewhere else where you are less likely to meet them. It can be the nearest neighborhood or another town. On one hand, you may feel more confident in familiar places, but on the other, people there most likely knew you before transition. So you have to be ready to answer some questions if they ask. Now let's talk about how to prepare yourself mentally. First of all, just accept the truth that people will stare. It's a fact that you can't change. I haven't heard of any trans person who wasn't stared at the beginning of their transition. It's the stage that everyone goes through. For some it lasts months, for some years. No matter how well you prepare, how many tutorials you watched, and how long you waited for HRT to take its effect, people will look at you. Mostly these looks have no bad intention, just a glance at something unusual, out of curiosity. Accept it. Know that you're at the beginning of the learning curve. It's not a failure, it's a process. Considering that you've spent many years in your old gender, you need knowledge and practice. The more you go out, the more confident you become. You will learn how to dress, how to carry yourself, how to use your voice, and how to communicate with others. Another thing I've learned: Women get many more looks than men. Women attract more attention, and at first it may feel uncomfortable. But since you're starting social transition, get comfortable with the idea that people will look at you more. Maybe because you're tall, or have a deep voice, or made someone's day by your smile. And it's only up to you whether you will let it upset you, or you will learn how to rock it. During your first time out, you'll likely be focused on yourself, and won't want to interact with other people. But what if you have to? What if someone asks you something? How should you behave? What should you answer? Just like you would do it in everyday life. Don't try to pressure yourself or act in a certain way. Reply kindly and calmly. In most cases, people are just minding their own business. You're a stranger to them, and likely it's the first and the last time you're meeting them. Going out for the first time has always been a hard step for any transgender person, regardless of the time or country. Show people that you're not a threat. You're just a kind, harmless, and open person. Smile at them. Compliment a stranger. Say something polite and kind. It will boost your confidence and make your own day. If you feel aggression or resistance from anyone, just politely say goodbye and walk away. Emotional reaction most likely will escalate the conflict and will ruin your day. Many transgender people I've spoken to were misgendered in the beginning. Social transition is a learning curve, and most likely you will meet some misunderstandings. You don't have to correct everyone. Your emotional state and safety matter most. If you are being misgendered, when you can correct. In safety places like cafes or hospitals, where people are more receptive. When you feel calm enough to do so without escalating the conflict. When it truly matters to you, like a new social circle or professional setting. And when to let it go. When you're in danger or the person seems aggressive. When correcting them would drain you emotionally. Or when a person is a stranger you will never meet again. Letting it go doesn't mean you're weak or fake. You're just prioritizing your mental state and safety. The more often you put effort in practice, the less often you will be misgendered. To prepare yourself mentally, try role-playing. Imagine common scenarios ahead of time. It will help you build confidence and reduce the anxiety. Some examples to rehearse. A cashier calls you sir or uses he. A stranger looks at you and laughs. Your friend or relative that names you in the public. Practice these in front of a mirror or with a friend or therapist. It makes a huge difference when it actually happens. If you are interacting in the store, for example buying makeup, don't be afraid to ask the consultant for help. They will gladly assist you if you're kind and open. Ask them to help you choose the correct foundation tone, a lip liner color, or a moisturizer for your skin type. There's nothing wrong with not knowing something and asking for help from someone more experienced. It's a win-win situation. If you feel safe, be honest that you're buying makeup for yourself. I know how hard it can be to tell the stranger that you're buying female stuff for you. It may feel like coming out to a stranger, and subconsciously you might fear judgment. But it happens rarely. Most people will appreciate your honesty and try their best to help you. It also helps them understand better your needs. Should you go alone or with someone else? It's a double-sided sword. On one hand, it's better to go with someone, with a friend or relative who can offer support. But there's a downside. You might end up relying on them too much, instead of building your own independence and confidence. You need to learn how to become an independent and mature person, and the only way is through experience. The first time out can be very emotional, and you should learn how to regulate, not suppress, your emotions. There are several techniques that might help you. Try breathing or grounding exercising. Focus on your sensation of feet standing on the ground, or name 5 different objects around you. Self-affirmations. Tell yourself, I know who I am. This person just hasn't caught up yet. Compassion practice. Instead of spiraling into shame and guilt, offer yourself the same kindness as you would give your friend in your place. Text a friend system. Have someone you can send a message for support if something happens. Normalize your emotional reactions. It's okay to feel angry, hurt, discouraged after being misgendered. Don't beat yourself up for reacting. What matters most is what you do with those feelings. Talk to someone supportive. Write about your experience in your personal diary. Use it as a motivation for further steps in your transition. Not from perfectionism, but from self-love. And lastly, ask for criticism. One step that will significantly help you in social transition and will save a lot of time is asking for a feedback. A good, nice, friendly criticism. As I said before, you can get it from consultants in stores, but the best feedback comes from friends you trust. Some things are only visible from the outside. Of course, in the beginning it might hurt a bit if someone will tell you that your outfit doesn't work or your lip liner color doesn't suit you. But take it as an opportunity to learn. This kind of friendly criticism is meant not to hurt, but to help, given with love and good intentions. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't have such people in our lives we can trust with these things. Maybe they don't have the knowledge, or they can judge us. In that case, ask for help from the community. There are several groups on Reddit where transgender people ask for opinion or advice about their look or transition. I have mixed feelings about them. You may get good constructive messages, but also sugar-coated and overly subjective opinions. If you prefer more personalized help, you can contact me for guidance and recommendations that might work for you. I will leave my contact in the description below. In the next video, I will share some tips and tricks that I've learned during my transition. Thank you for being with me. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and see you soon in my next video. Bye.